Hey, I'm William Jarvis. I started Honest Camper, and today I'm just going to walk you through an overview video of how to use our Volkswagen Vanagons. At the time of making this epic high-quality video, we have two, one manual and one automatic, both almost identical, so I'll walk you through both in the same video.
Okay, so up front, regardless of auto or manual, we're looking at basically the same thing here. When we go to turn on the key, I like to just kind of give it a second. You'll see this flashing light here, and then crank it over. Sometimes if you just kind of jump in and crank it, doesn't give the fuel pump enough time to send a little shot of gas there. So I like to take my time with that. Other than that, yeah, fuel gauge on this one, and I think the other one too, doesn't quite go to the top even though it's full, so just something to be aware of. Most important one here is this guy here, the temperature gauge. So depending on the van, they're both about the same. You want to avoid idling if you can, which is what we're doing right now. But anyway, ferry lines, drive-throughs, heavy traffic, avoid idling, shut it down if you have to. And then there's this kind of light in the middle. You can't really see it, but you want the needle to kind of be at that, or maybe at about 65%, 70. Anything past that, and you're going to want to take a break there. Give the engine a rest. It's starting to overheat. So yeah, take it easy on that. Other than that, the only other thing to look at is the light switch here. So for the lights, it's old school, obviously. So it's easy to forget to turn this off when you exit the van. So just be aware of that. Flick it off when it's done. Additionally, up front is the heater. You can put the term heater in quotations. There's really not a ton of heat happening here. It's old. There's a little legend on the bottom that will kind of explain these, since they make absolutely no sense on their own. There's the switch over here, obviously powers it, and that's that. A little pro tip: if you're driving in the summer, obviously there's no air conditioning in this vehicle here, so use these guys here. So you can just kind of push it in, and it's this cool little triangle thing. But a pro tip is basically you can take a can of pop or whatever, or juice, and kind of put it in this gap right here. And basically what it'll do is it'll keep the window open while you're driving, rather than the wind kind of pushing it back. So that'll give you a nice breeze in your face while you're driving. Much like the manual, same process for starting. We're going to turn it to the on position, then fully crank it. For this particular van, at the time of this video creation, the tachometer doesn't do anything. It just sits in that spot, but not really required since it's an automatic. The only other thing to really note is for shifting, we want to be really gentle. It's old, right? But there is also, again, at the time of making this, quite a bit of play in these. So, we're down in reverse, no problem. Neutral, drive. There, as you can see, there's quite a bit of play there. So, just make sure that you're actually in drive when you're doing this, instead of being in second. Obviously the van will perform differently when it's in second versus drive. And I find too, on cold mornings, sometimes even when you're driving, it'll kind of take a little bit to warm up. So the gears, it'll feel like it wants to switch to second, but it's just kind of revving high in first for a bit. So again, just kind of give it some time, let it warm up, and just be gentle when you're shifting. You don't need to be Michael Schumacher and rip through these. Just nice and gentle. For the manual transmission, fairly straightforward. It's maybe not as tight as a more modern vehicle. There's quite a bit of play, but you don't need to shift it. Like your Ayrton Senna. Just be gentle with it, slow. Nice and easy. There's no need to just fire through the gears and shift it like you're a race car driver. Reverse is down to the floor, pushed in, and then kind of up towards your knee. And that's that. And just a heads up here, we've got these on each van, but just be aware of the height and the length of the vehicle. Height especially, if you're going through drive-thrus or whatever, ferries or parkades, that kind of thing. So just be aware of that. Pretty minor, but down here are a couple of cup holders. These are, I would say not the most powerful and strong cup holders that have ever been designed. Also, any kind of downward pressure on these, like if you were to step on it, will force it to snap. So yeah, just kind of be gentle with those guys if you can. And yeah, they kind of move in and out to accommodate kind of larger and smaller drink sizes. So yeah, that's that. Okay, this is the main kind of area of the van. I'll just walk you through a few things here. Here's kind of the basic drawers, cutlery, scissors, bottle openers, just the one, and plates, bowls, cups, that kind of stuff. Fridge here. Be gentle lifting this up. There's no need to really crank on it too much. And then make sure it's flicked to this side, otherwise it's locked and it won't open. So keep it flicked there. And then, yeah, decent little fridge in here. It actually makes legit ice cubes, which is cool. And then to turn it on, a lot of people maybe miss this, but you have to hold it down for a few seconds. Don't just like hit it and be like, hey, fridge doesn't work. What's going on? You press this, hold it down for a few seconds, and then there she goes. And then the second button here is to adjust the temperature level. So smallest being the most mild, and the button on the bottom being the coldest setting. And that's it. And again, to turn it off, you just press that there. Okay, so for the sink and stove, pretty straightforward. These are nice Dometic units here. So basically, you've got a 2-burner hub, and very much like a barbecue. You're going to push it in to light it, turn it to the lighting, you'll hear a hiss, and then I've only got one hand I'm using at the moment, but use a lighter to light these guys, and then yeah, let it off and adjust it to the setting that you prefer. Yeah, just like a kind of standard barbecue. The lighter here I find does not really work very well. And then here's the sink as well. So keep in mind that this water, this is old school, so the water pours directly onto the ground. So there is, if you want to, there should be a small plastic container in the back of the van if you wanted to catch a little bit of that water. If, some places are pickier than others. Otherwise, it's just sink water. It's not a big deal. But yeah, this kind of folds up and comes across like this. And I haven't started it in a bit here, but there it is. So yeah, decent pressure. No need to crank it all the way. I don't think you need like super water pressure, but yeah, that's the sink and stove. So the main kind of cabinet here, I'll just show you. This is the newer propane system is in here. So basically all you do is you're going to take this tank, bring it out, and then you're going to take this guy right here, hook it up to the tank, open the tank up, and you're good to go. And make sure you disconnect it when you're done. But that's it. No need to use the propane system that's on the outside of the van. Like I said, at the making of this video, it's still there, but it doesn't do anything. So you're going to use this one instead, and that's that. So in the back cabinet here, you've got kind of all kinds of goodies. Currently, some chairs, a bag, and with Bluetooth speaker, first aid little hatchet, the electrical adapter, and some other good stuff. The hose with the correct connector on it, and then some supplies in the back as well. But here as well, if you prefer to fill up the water this way, or want to check on how much water you have, you just unscrew this and water be there. Yeah, you can fill it up this way as well if you want to bring the hose inside the vehicle. I prefer to do it the other way, just to avoid spillage, that kind of stuff. But and that's that. So on the rear bench, I'll show you how to bring it down and turn it into a bed. First, on the side here, there's a little 12-volt plug, and there's also a USB guy. You can keep this flicked off if that red light bothers you at nighttime or whatever, but basically it's a USB, but it'll also show you how juiced up the battery is. Generally want to be around, 12.6 is nice, 12.3 is okay. Anything kind of around 12 and below is no good. So you can kind of keep an eye on your battery levels there if you're parked for a few days and it starts to get low. You can kind of run the van for a bit, or like I said, if you're plugged into the shore power, this will be juiced up all the time. Okay, for the bed, it's pretty straightforward. Underneath, you will feel kind of a couple of hand spots, so just basically lift it up and pull towards you. And there it goes. Let's see, it's nice and flat. And then the to put it back up is kind of the reverse. Just kind of give it a pull. Sorry, hard to do with one hand, but look at that. There you go. One-handed. If you are traveling with a little one or that's got a car seat, there's a couple of options. Obviously in the back there's 2 lap belts. They are old school. There's no shoulder belt with those. So I've found with the seats that I used to use for my little guys, you actually can just pull the lap belt through the back of the car seat. So I guess depending on the type of seat you have. But under the back seat there is one little metal clip that you can clip into, and then there's also this one in the back up here as well, so you can kind of run that tether to the seat as well. So that's another option for you. So when you are plugged into shore power, as I mentioned, this outlet becomes powered, and there is underneath this seat here, as you can see, I've kind of propped it up, there's a little bar here. There is a battery charger that will charge this auxiliary battery. So this auxiliary battery is charged while you drive, but it also can be charged via this charger as well. So it's good to do that if you're stationary for a couple of days, and this will therefore alleviate any power concerns. So it'll run the fridge, power that the USB, run the sink pump, that kind of stuff. So basically all you do is just, I have plugged in shore power, so plug that guy in there, and it'll start to charge here. We should be able to see it. It'll probably be red because we're just starting, but yeah, there you'll be able to see by the time it's sorted itself out, it will be all the way up to the green there. So that's the little charger there. That's a handy guy. And then just some other bits under the seat here. Currently there's a couple seats. Little stove that'll live under there in case you want to do some outside cooking. And then there's some spare parts on there, just in case. These old vans are temperamental. They're well loved and taken care of, but things do happen. So anyway, that's what's happening. Okay, so to get the pop top up, it's fairly straightforward. It's just this guy right here, and you're going to just pull behind it. You'll feel a couple of kind of latches there. Give it a pull, and we're going to push up. And there's a bar, you'll see, which this guy right here, helpful with 2 people. 1 is fine. Just give it a good push, and there you go. That's kind of all there is to that. And then to bring it down, that's kind of the reverse, obviously. Give it a pull, and yeah, I like to kind of bring it slowly down. I'm a bit of a taller gentleman, and I kind of just rest it here, but again, what you want to do is make sure, I like this move, you kind of Superman it a bit, kind of push the fabric up. So the goal here is to have no fabric hanging out the side of the van while you drive. So I like to push it nice and taut and bring her in. And just before I latch it up, I kind of just go around the edge of the van and just kind of pull stuff in. And then of course you want to make sure you hear the clicking sound to make sure it's locked in. So there we go. So for the top bunk, what you want to do is you'll get the van and it's kind of going to be like this. You want to kind of give it a pull forward so that the top part of the bed moves forward like that. I don't know if you can see that, but like that. And then you can pull it up
That's a nice noise right there. And there it goes. Basically, if you don't move it forward and you start pulling it up, it's gonna hit the roof. So yeah, give it a pull forward first.
Top of the vehicle stuff. There is a little sunroof skylight thing. I wouldn't really get into using. I don't think it really does too much, to be honest. But they are there. You can open it slowly. So in setting up the table, just real quick, obviously here's the tabletop, and here's the leg that we got from the back. It's very much a marine style, so you're going to just basically put this in and twist. You'll kind of hear some clicking sounds. There you go. Just kind of click it until it's in there. And then quite simply, you're just going to put this tabletop on the top here. Like that. You can kind of spin it around and stuff, but yeah, basically that's all there is to it. And then, of course, to take it off, it's kind of the reverse. So we're going to take that off. But then to take this post out, there's a button down here. Press that while you twist. Otherwise, it won't come out. So give that a twist, and then you're set. That's it. For the trunk here, this is, I know some people, myself included, when I first got these, I wasn't really clear on how to actually open these, but it's a push in and then bring it up. So in the back of the van here, same for both vans that we've got at the moment. There's this kind of curtain. Basically, you pull this out of the plastic and you can kind of wrap it around the front of the van. There's a ladder here, a little telescopic one, super handy if you're using the top bunk there. Obviously when you're stepping down, you want to avoid standing on the counter, and there's that glass up there. Don't stand on that. Obviously it has been done before, so I recommend not doing that. Use the ladder if you can. And then this is the table. I'll show you in a minute how to set that up, and that's kind of all the stuff that's in the back here. Also in the back here, there's kind of this little storage area here as well, so you can get creative and kind of store a few things there. Just beware though, it does kind of, you probably can't see it, but it does kind of open up there and goes into the valley of death kind of area where you basically won't be able to reach it with your hands. So try not to put too much in there, but I will say under here we keep the leg for the table, so if you're looking for that, that's where you can find that. Okay, quick tutorial. If you are going on a longer trip, you're going to want to keep an eye on the coolant and the oil levels, and I'll quickly show you how to do that. To open up the back, obviously flip the big cushion up, and you're going to turn these each to the side, and then you'll be able to pull the cover off. 1 second, I'm going to need both hands here, so hang on. Okay, so in both of our Volkswagens, we've got engine conversions. So we've got Ford Zetec engines in here. They're from the awesome raw power that comes with the Ford Focus. So anyway, they have been great little engines. Increased performance and reliability, that kind of stuff. And of course, super easy to get little bits and parts from.
Okay, in the back here, I'll just quickly run through how to check the oil and coolant. And like I said, only really do this if you're on a longer trip. If you're just doing a weekend, really no need unless, the van feels like it's getting hot and you want to check on the coolant. Oil should not be a problem. We take care of that, obviously, but there is some extra supplies in the van if you need to top it up. So real quick, the oil dipstick is kind of front and center here. So these Ford Zetec engines are pretty straightforward. So we're going to just kind of clean off the end of the dipstick, and then we're going to put it back in. And then when it comes out, I'm not sure if you can see this, but yeah, you probably can't see that. Anyway, there's 2 dots on it, and let's see if I can clean it off. Maybe then you can see it. Yeah, there's 2 dots there. You want to basically have the oil go right up to the top of the second dot. So if it needs some topping up, you can basically, there's this guy right here, pretty straightforward. Take it off, just pour a little bit in at a time, check the level, a little bit, check the level. You don't definitely do not want to overfill the oil. That would be tray bad for sure.
Okay, so for the coolant, we're going to look at two different things. There's the overflow tank, which is this guy here. So you just want to only check the coolant when the engine is cold, okay? Don't do it when it's hot, because the coolant will be in an expanded state at that point, and basically moved all the way up to the front of the van and the radiator and throughout the engine system. So not a good time to check it when it's hot. You want to do it when it's cold. And then basically on the side here you can see normal and hot. You want it to be at this normal level. And of course, again, when the engine's cold, if it's not at the normal level, kind of get it to there. The second part, this is kind of where we're actually going to fill it up, and also the other place to check. This is the coolant tower here. Basically, we want this to be filled up to the very top. So again, do not do this when it's hot. It will fly out and burn your face. So yeah, as you can see, it's right to the top. That's perfect. And then it's kind of got a spring-loaded cap. So you push it in and then turn it to get it on. But if you're gonna, you want to make sure, like I said, fill this one to the top. If it's low, in theory it should be fine. But like I said, again, when it's cold, fill it up to the very top, and then make sure this one over here is at normal. On the outside of the vehicle here, these are your kind of basically your water. So inside the van there's a hose with an adapter. You can plug that in there and that will fill the water tank. This is for city water. Do not use this, hence being plugged. Don't use that. It's not connected. If for some reason this fell off and you decided to fill it up, the van, this goes straight into the van. It's not hooked up to anything. So big bad things. Don't do that. And then here's for shore power. This is important. So there's an extension cord in the van. Plug that in there and you will have shore power. So what that'll do is plug or power the outlet that's inside the van, and also allow you to charge the van as well. But the van does charge while you drive. Lastly, underneath here is the propane setup. Do not use this. This is the old one. While it's still here at the time of this video being created, we'll probably remove this. It's not hooked up to anything. It's emptied, and we use a different source. So do not use this. On the key ring, you've probably noticed there's a second key. That key is for the gas cap. So basically, turn counterclockwise, maybe a half a turn, and there you go. When you're filling this up, as a common thing with these vans, you don't overfill it. Basically, don't be wearing your nicest pants and be doing like a lunge right under it, because fuel will spill out onto you. You'll be a pro when you kind of you'll be able to hear it getting to the top, and then you can stop. But basically, no need to overfill it, and just kind of step back in case there's a little splash while you're topping it up there. And then put it back in. You can kind of see these grooves here go into the side, and then half turn, there you go. So as mentioned, one of the things that happens from time to time is people tend to leave the lights on. It's kind of, we're so used to in our maybe more modern vehicles, stepping out and lights just kind of turn off. These ones, not so much, and it's easy to forget for sure. I've done it myself before. So in the instance where, say the battery's dead when you get up in the morning, there's a way, we've got some jumper cables in the back here, and I'm sure there's a better way to say this. You can jump yourself, but basically you run the jumper cables from the auxiliary battery over to the kind of starter battery, which is under the passenger seat. So when you do that, you can get you back on the road pretty quick. But just to kind of, in summary, these vans are old and they're awesome. They're so much fun to drive. Anytime I haven't driven them for a little bit and I get to take one out, it's just such a cool feeling. Just kind of being above those front wheels, you're kind of just got a view to the world, and they're old school kind of retro vibes, and they're just well made. There's a reason why they're still so popular and have a super high resale value and are
are fairly durable. But every time a van comes back, there's usually something that's maybe needing some attention. Maybe a switch doesn't do anything anymore, or something else. But I guess suffice to say, if you're out there and something happens, send us a message, let us know, and oftentimes can walk you through solutions on how to remedy. But yeah, they're awesome, and it's kind of what started this whole business for me. So it's obviously got a special place in my heart. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful, and enjoy your trip out there.